joining us this week to have a look at our next game, which is a home game against Walsall, is the Walsall fan, Seb. Seb, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It's a sunny day here in Essex, so hopefully that weather will continue into the weekend, and it'll be a nice weather for a nice game of football. Before we get into the details of the game, just let us know, where can we find you?
I'm on TikTok at the moment, so my account is Seb Taylor WFC. I do Warsaw League Two content really. So if you want to give me a follow, that'd be much appreciated.
Awesome. Now, I will leave a link down below for Seb's channel and Seb's page. Make sure you head over there and give it a like, give it a follow, and give him the love. So let's jump straight into it. Walsall. Last five games for Walsall, you have a 2-1 loss to Notts County, a 1-0 loss to Salford, and then it sort of changed a little bit. A 3-0 win at Crewe, a 0-0 draw to Cambridge, and a 2-1 win to Newport. Since we last played you, it's been 23 games that you've played. You've won eight, you've drawn seven, lost eight, you've scored 25, conceded 24, and you got 31 points. Obviously, there's been a bit of a managerial change recently, but since the last time we played, what has Walsall's season been like?
Well, it's been very similar to what happened last season. Really, we were good up until we played you guys. I think was it November. We obviously lost. I think went on a decent run after that. Picked up some wins, but ever since the new year again, it's just gone downhill, and that was pretty much down to Matt Sadler, in my opinion. I know a lot of people say about our January business was he backed, which, yeah, that is a fair point, but he was just so one-dimensional in the way we played, so predictable, so boring, and what happens is if you play that certain way, teams are going to figure out and get results, and yeah, it was the right decision to get rid of Matt Sadler, but yeah, like you said, I think we said 31 points in 28 games since we played you lot. A common theme for me, other than over the last few games or so, we don't score many. We haven't scored many goals in that kind of running game. So hopefully, from now to the end of the season, we can get the goals because that could play a massive part. If we want to get in the playoffs come the end of the season, goal difference really. A lot of the other teams around us have got big goal difference, but the way we're playing at the moment, it's definitely better to watch. It's more balanced. We've gone to kind of a back 4-4-3-3, 4-5-1, however you want to look at it, really. And it's definitely suiting the players a lot better. And hopefully, we can get 3 points Saturday.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. There's the same as last year. I think the sort of fall off that happened to Walsall last year took everyone by surprise. What was it last year that made you sort of fall off, and then what's making it happen sort of again this time round? Was it just the way Sadler was playing, teams worked it out, and he was just stuck to plan A, or is it injuries? What was it?
Yeah, it was just pure stubbornness. I think we literally, if we'd have just got one more point from any of like the last 20 games of the season, we'd have got promoted on goal difference. And you look at some of the games we lost. I know we lost to Accrington at home and Harrogate. We drew 2-2 at home. We dropped so many points in the back end of the season. We won 3 games in 21 games. And no doubt the players can take responsibility. And obviously, you can't just put the full blame on the manager, but he sets the team up. He coaches them how to play a certain way. 3-5-2 is so anti-football. And I'd put it down to stubbornness, in my opinion. I think he's literally um, stuck to a way of playing football, 3-5-2, and it's ultimately got him the sack at the end of the day. And in my opinion, I think it was way too late. I think he probably should have been sacked last season after the playoff final. So we'll wait and see if we can kind of, rescue the season, because if you look at kind of the fall off this season, positional wise, it's probably a lot worse because we were top Boxing Day and now we're 11th in the league. Obviously, last season we had that massive gap at the top of the table. That's why we only finished fourth in the end. And a lot of the teams around us weren't really taking advantage when we're dropping points as well. So, yeah, it does feel like another fall off this season, but hopefully we can kind of, like I say, rescue the season and hopefully get into that kind of playoff spots.
Yeah. So you mentioned obviously the 3-5-2 that Sadler played, the sort of anti-football. Obviously on the after the Salford defeat on the 11th of March, he was told to pack up his things and go. Former player Darren Byfield's come in. He said he sort of changed into the sort of 4-5-1. sort of system, what has been the sort of biggest thing that you've noticed from the sort of the Sadler reign into this new Byfield reign?
I just see just a lot more balance in the play, and you can see Byfield's brought in a couple of players that Sadler throws it out. You got likes of Rico Brown's come in. I think it was a really good player when he played under Sadler, and then he made one mistake at Cambridge, and that was him out of the team for a couple of months. Alfie Chang, I think, started on Saturday against Newport. Wasn't his greatest game, but when he's on, he's a decent player. So he's brought a lot of players that were kind of not getting in the side. And like I said, there's more balance to the play. You got Adoma, experienced quality players playing in the championship, quality player, like I said, playing in his natural position off the right wing. Sadler was, bringing him on as an impact sub, as a front two, just not his position. If he's running at players, generally, I think he's one of the best players in the division. Still at 38 as well. He's a brilliant player to watch. Like I said, there's just more balance to the play, freedom. And to be honest, there's actually been some football being played under Sadler. It was just kind of, let's hope we get a corner, or let's hope we get a long throw, and just kind of play off luck. Now we are trying to create stuff, and it has been a lot better to watch over the last week. So hopefully it's not just like a kind of short-term thing. We can bring it from now to the end of the season. We've got 7 massive games of the season. Let's see where it takes us. But yeah, fair play, Byfield. 7 points from 9. We'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, so just taking a look at your the starting lineup from your last game, which was your 2-1 win to Newport. It's got it on FootMob as a 4-3-3, but you've alluded that it's more of a sort of like 4-5-1 sort of thing.
Yeah,
You've got Roberts in goal, you've got Brown, Lobotta, Burke, and Hancock at the back, Patterson, Chang, and Larkin as the sort of three in the middle, and then Adoma, Kanu, and I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to Lupalo by.
yeah, Lapalo boy, yeah.
Lapello by. Do you think that's how you'll set up? And if that is how you'll set up, what player should we look out for? I mean, for me personally, you've already mentioned Albert Adoma, but Kanu up front, he is someone that, like we had with Micah and Bick, someone that knows how to score a goal or two.
Yeah, I think we'll play the same formation. I think there should be a couple of changes from that. I think Aidan Flint has to come in the back four. I think Lepata, I haven't been, he hasn't been brilliant since coming in, and I don't get why Flint's been dropped for the last few games or so. I think he's by far our best defender. Obviously, nowadays he's had a few poor games, like any player has through a season, but I think he's brilliant in terms of his leadership, wins everything in the air, and he gets kind of a lot of stick for his distribution. No doubt he does kind of just, he's a no-nonsense defender, so he doesn't take any risks. Sometimes just hoofs it for no reason. But generally, what I saw on Saturday, I thought his distribution from the back is decent. So I think he'll come into the back four. I think the back four will stay the same. Midfield three, I think Patterson will keep his spot. That was probably his best game on Saturday. I think Comley should come into the midfield. I think he played for Colchester for a little bit. I think Brandon Comley just does a solid job in the midfield. Positional work, I think, has been great for us. Goes under the radar. I think he should come into the midfield three. And then I think the front three will probably stay the same. Obviously, you mentioned about Daniel Carno. I think got his first goal on Saturday since the Barnet game, which I think was 6 or 7 games before. So, yeah, hopefully I'll give him a bit of a boost. He won't play on Saturday, though I think he is on international duty, actually. So, Aaron Presley will probably come in for Daniel Carno. So, yeah, we'll wait and see how that kind of plays, really, in terms of the way we play, because 2 different strikers, really. Daniel Carno, he's a threatening behind. Aaron Presley's more kind of a hold-up striker. So, we'll wait and see. But, yeah, Presley, to be fair, when he come on Saturday, he did make an impact. So, yeah, let's see what happens.
Awesome. You you alluded to him just there, former player Brandon Comley. There are, from what I can see, 3 former Colchester United players. You got Sam Hornby, Brandon Comley, and Kemar Roof. Them 3 players, what are they? What are they like for you? I imagine Hornby's sort of playing sort of the similar role we played with us as like the sort of backup keeper. But Brandon Comley, he was a player that Colchester United fans loved. He was just that engine in the midfield and just wouldn't mind just sitting on the halfway line, letting everyone else attack, and he'll just sit and hold it. So them 3 players, what are they like for you?
Yeah, Sam Hornby, he had a few games recently when Miles Roberts was injured. He's an okay keeper, like I say. He's a decent number two. Like I mentioned about Brandon Comley, I think he's generally got under the radar this season. I think whenever he's played, he's done a solid job. And to be fair, from seasons gone by, I haven't been a massive Brandon Comley fan. I do think he's a little bit limited on the ball, but like I said, the role he does off the ball lets the other players more advanced, get on with doing their job. I think he's a solid player in the midfield. And you mentioned about Kemar Roof. Obviously, he was with us for a few games, but he's no longer with us now. He only signed, I think, up until January. It was a shame, really, because obviously we signed him with a lot of promise, obviously, with reputation. He played, obviously, Rangers, Leeds, and scored lots of goals in his career. But yeah, I think injuries kind of limited his game time with us.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's I'll be honest, not something I didn't realize that he signed for you and then went.
Yeah,
But yeah, he was very similar with us. I think he was only with us for a short period of time, and
yeah,
I think he was one that I think he came in on loan, played really well, and it was like, well, you know, he's not going to sign for us.
yeah.
Um, right. So just before I let you go, we'll get into the classic, the great thing of a score prediction. But taking a look at the head-to-heads, since we've been playing each other, Colchester have won 8 times. There's been 9 draws and 7 wins for Walsall. Just before we hit record, we were actually talking about the fact that Walsall have never won at the JobServe Community Stadium. The last game was a 2-1 win for the U's. Teddy Bishop and Awara Edwards scored for us, and Larkin scored for you. And that man that's behind you, unfortunately, picked up a red card in that day.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking score prediction wise for the weekend?
I mean, on form, I don't think you guys are on the greatest run of form. You have kind of slipped down the league, but I guess you're still just within kind of a shout of the playoffs. If you could put a really good run from now to the end of the season, I believe you got a game in hand as well. So this is a big game for both sides, really. I think there's a 6 point gap between us, so we really do need to pick up the 3 points. We'll wait and see what happens. Like you mentioned, the kind of record at your place has not been great for us. I've been a few times and never seen us win. I think there was a 0-0 draw was one of the first times I went on a freezing Tuesday night. Hopefully it's not kind of a boring game, but I am going to predict a draw. I'm going to go with Colchester 1, Walsall 1.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was just you were saying about a 0-0 draw. Yeah, it was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
0-0 draw on Valentine's Day. It'd be nice to recreate the scoreline from the 24th of October 2015 because that was a 4-4 draw. That would
Yeah,
make
that,
it a very
that,
interesting
that
game.
was in League One, weren't it?
It
They were the
was,
good old
yes.
days, they were. Yeah.
But no, I think this is a game that I think both teams want to win and
Yeah.
probably need to win. Just like you say, there's not many games left now. It is normally around Easter where you sort of see the teams that are going to be up there, going to be in the playoffs, and the teams that are going to get relegated. Obviously, neither of us are going to get relegated. Um, I think a draw as well, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think a draw would be I'd want it to be a really entertaining game that at the end of it both teams go, do you know what? Fair play. 2-2 draw is the fair result. But yeah, I think that the problem is with Colchester, a record like that, never lost at home to Walsall. Surely it's like the Bromley when we played Bromley at the weekend. They haven't lost at home all season. It's like surely that's got a break.
Yeah.
Doesn't normally happen when it's got Colchester involved. So yeah, I think a draw would be a fair result. But yeah, Seb, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Just remind us where we can find you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on TikTok, Seb Taylor WFC, if you want to check me out.
Awesome. And like I say, there'll be a link down below for you to go and check out Seb's stuff. It is brilliant. Make sure you head over there. Give him a like, give him a follow, and give him the love. But Seb, for the weekend, best of luck. Not too much luck, and best of luck for the rest of the season. And you never know, may see each other in the capital. I say that quite a lot recently against the teams we're playing, but yeah, it might happen.
You never know.
You never know.